Hey everybody, welcome to Geekism. I'm Tej,
I'm Corey.
and today it's kind of a little more chill episode. Not a whole lot of news going on. I think it's because like the holidays and shit of the week have kind of sequestered the cycle.
I mean, the only real news is that there's a DC KFC Justice League teaser coming out.
What? I'm sorry. What?
You know how they had all those weird crossovers where it was like DC and the Looney Tunes that are like going on right now?
Yes.
Well, there's this one. It says DC Comics releases new KFC Justice League teaser. And there's like two pictures of Colonel Sanders and the Flash is running in.
It's awesome.
God,
What is happening,
chicken, bro?
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot going on. We're super close to Spider-Man being out, which is exciting. Like, we already have tickets ready to go.
I haven't bought mine, which I should probably do that once we're done here.
And, I mean, I haven't read any reviews or anything, because I'm trying to avoid, like, any spoilers at all. But just general consensus from what I've seen from people is that it is very good.
You think they're going to show Uncle Ben?
Well, I didn't think so before, but again, haven't seen spoilers, but it's been alluded to that no, they don't. Like, they kind of, like, mention something, but it's not.
A montage?
Like, it seems the impression I got from kind of the way people were vaguely talking about stuff is, like, that they don't even do, like, an origin. Like, there's not even an origin at all. Like, it's kind of might be mentioned, like, hey, this kind of thing happened, blah, 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 but yeah, who cares? Everyone fucking knows already.
Yeah, we all fucking know. We've seen Uncle Ben die like 30 times. We've seen Batman's parents get killed like a million times. So we're good. We don't need to see that ever again.
Yeah, I know. But, it seems, yeah, I mean, they've all said it's really good. People really said Michael Keaton's really good as the Vulture. I heard, some folks may have touted this as the best superhero movie ever. Who knows? We'll wait and see when I see it on Saturday. I think I'm going.
This whole Sony Marvel deal will be pretty good until they go and mess it up with all this Venom stuff that I'm reading.
That's the thing is, I'm just kind of like, all right, I'll just focus on these ones that are Marvel movies. I don't care about these other ones.
Yeah, like, I want to see a Venom movie, but the way they're going about it, you're just like, man, you guys just don't understand to not rush this stuff.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It moves. That's weird. We've said it so many times. Like, why? Like, Marvel's obviously has like the format. Why don't people just copy? Like, hey, this is what they're doing. We're gonna do that too.
And you could speed it up a little bit, but at the same time, like, everyone's just like, nope, we're off and running.
Yeah, they're like, no, this is how we're doing it. I'm like, all right, well. And then you get mixed results that don't work out so hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was just little stuff. Mainly, we were just going to talk about
that sweet Zelda DLC that came out.
The Zelda DLC, yeah, and then maybe get into some comics after.
Which, the DLC came out, I mean, it's not, like, super expansive from the scene, like, from what I've played through, because it didn't take too long to find all those, like, pieces of gear.
The outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Some of the clues, though, were just basically like, wander around Hyrule Field.
Yeah, it was weird. For, like, at first I didn't understand, because I, like, as per usual, like, when the text popped up the first time, I was, like, skimming it, and I was like, I don't understand. Like, am I fine? Like, is this a hint for the armor, or is this a hint for something else? Like, how you have to find, like, the little journal first, like, that's where it points you to.
Yeah.
And so, like, the first one I went after, like, I'm sitting there and I'm like looking around, and, like, the journal was kind of on, like, a little bookshelf in, like, a ruin. And, like, I ran past it, like, 6 times because in my brain I was like, no, I'm looking for a treasure chest. Like, what else, the fuck else? And then I was like, oh, it's right here.
This is the map.
What a miss.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, for the most part, some of the little, like, riddles to, like, where the stuff was at, it was very, like, not like outlandish, but it wasn't very descriptive to where you're just like, okay, this makes sense. Yeah, I'll go to this spot.
Yeah, like, I think the first one I got was the Phantom set. And I think the last one I got was the Majora's Mask, only because... Oh, that's an alarm.
Oh.
The last one I got was the Majora's Mask one. I honestly haven't even, like, tried all of them. I don't even know what they do. I just know the Korok one, like, to help you find those things, but I don't care about finding all those
that one was pretty annoying, though.
Yeah.
The only one I really cared about that I found was first was the Tingle outfit. So I could just run around there looking like a creep.
I found the Tingle outfit, and I was literally like, this is never going to go on my body.
The Phantom one looks pretty cool when you put it on, especially if you're carrying like a big sword.
It's funny because that's what I had. I found was the helmet last? I don't remember which piece was in that, like the Colosseum, where like the Lionel is at. Whatever piece, that's the piece I found last. And so I put it on, and I just happened to be using like a giant sword at the time because I was like, oh, I'm going to fight that Lionel. And this was like the first time I've played this game since I beat it, pretty much. And I was very rusty, and my fight with that Lionel did not go as well as I had hoped.
It was pretty rough. I will admit that, because I was just like, all right, this is going to be nothing. I'm just going to beat this dude to death. And then, no, it took a while. Yeah, I took some hits. There was some loss. I didn't die.
No, I didn't die, but I went through a lot of weapons.
A lot of weapons.
But yeah, I mean, that stuff's cool. It seems like it's very much so I feel like they did the 2 DLC pack because maybe all this stuff combined with whatever is going to be in the second one, that might have been a little bit too much for just one pack. You know what I mean? But it seems like this stuff as a whole is meant more so for like a, hey, don't forget, like, this game is cool and there's some neat stuff, but come back later when the new story stuff is out.
Yeah, the only thing that's in it that's even like remotely challenging is the Master Sword trial.
Yeah, like I haven't tried the hard mode, but again, that's like hard mode to essentially play the whole game again. I don't know if I'm ready to do that right now.
No, I'm not ready for that, but I was looking at some stuff online. And there's like people like posting tweets. They're like, "Oh, great! There's a Lionel right in the starting plateau area. Let me just beat it to death with my Boko club."
I saw that, and I was like, "Oh, Jesus!"
I was like,
Christ.
"Man, that's fucking brutal. Like, you just gotta try to run, but that thing's gonna mow you down."
But yeah, I mean, I've been going through. I started the Master Sword trial, and it's funny because I didn't know, like, I didn't read anything about this DLC really before. So I didn't know, like, how it was, whatever. So when I beat the first, like, section, like the easy section, I guess, I didn't know it was the easy trial at first.
Yeah,
because I was like, man, this is pretty tough.
Yeah, I wasn't really thinking that there was going to be multiple, but as soon as it was over, I was like, this isn't the end, because that was way too easy.
Well, as soon as I go, and he's like, oh, you've unlocked the power, and I saw that it went from like 30 to 40 or whatever, and I was like, wait, isn't it supposed to go like to 60? I was like, and then I was like, oh, god damn it. So then I had the middle one. So right now I've beaten the easy and the middle one.
I'm on the same page.
And then I started the hard one a little bit last night, got like a couple rounds in, and then I died, and I was like, all right, I'm done right now.
Well, like, for me, the reason, like, it's taken so long is I play a little too aggressively and not so, like, thought out, like, oh, just, bait these guys and then go in. So even the second, like, the middle one, I died a few times on that before finally, like, breezing through it after figuring everything out. Mostly because I would get killed by whiz robes.
What is it? The little bouncy wizards?
Yeah.
Those things, I just arrow them in the face.
Well, here's what would happen is I would pretty much destroy the dudes with the arrows so they would fall off the map, and I wouldn't have any arrows. So I had to quit. I had to fix that.
I used bombs excessively.
No, you have to.
But the thing what happened to me was, so in the middle one, right, there's like a stretch of levels that are all in the dark. Like, right after you get to, like, the break point where you can cook the food and shit. So what happened was I got to the break point and cooked the food. I see the torch on the ground, and I'm like, that's been there every time. I don't need a torch. Like, forget about it. The very next, like, 4 or 5 levels are all in, like, pitch blackness. I have no torch. I was like, fuck.
Oh, I pick up every weapon. Doesn't even matter.
I don't. Well, what happened, like, the first couple levels I do, but then very quickly, like, your 2-3 damage clubs and shit are so useless. So
I just throw those, and then they do double damage.
I'm too busy throwing bombs.
I kind of that part. What'd you do in the part with the darkness then?
I
Did you just
had to get.
Did you just huck bombs everywhere?
No, what I had to do was I played it essentially like Metal Gear, but I needed like a torch or something. So what I would do is I would shoot an arrow through the fire to light a section of grass on fire to give me a little bit of light for a couple seconds, and then I would move to that area, and then I would do that again until I found whatever the enemy was I was supposed to fight. And finally, I think on like the 4th dark level or whatever, like up in one of the ruins, there's a torch on the ground. I was like, oh, thank God. So I took that, and I had that torch.
You should have had a bunch of wooden weapons at that point too that you could have set on fire.
I didn't even think about that. I was like,
nothing says I mean business like swinging a spiked Boko bat that's on fire.
Well, the funniest shit is like, so my brain immediately went to, all right, let me shoot some arrows through this fire to light the ground on fire, and that'll give me light, instead of let me use one of these wooden spears as a torch.
Oh,
but
geez.
like, you get to the last one where you got to fight the Hinox or whatever in the dark.
That's not very fun.
And I was like, well, I can't pull a torch out while I'm trying to fight. Mm-hmm. I was like, so what am I going to do here?
His eye glows pretty good, though.
Yeah, so what I had ended up doing was, because I don't use a lot of arrows, really. Like very few. And if I do use them, I'm just using normal ones. Like, I'm not using any of the element ones I picked up.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I found one of the ruins, like, right behind where he was laying down. And I got up and stood by the back of it. So he was looking at me, like, through the little window, like, cutout. And I just slammed him with every element arrow I have. Started with the bomb ones, went all the way down, and killed him with arrows.
Oh my God.
And a couple
I had a different
bombs.
method.
Oh, yeah?
You shot him in the eye until he fell down, and then you just take like your big two-handed weapon, and then you just tornado spin and beat him to death.
Couldn't risk it. Had to stay up in the safety of the fucking ruins.
Jesus. The third one, the hardest one, I think I haven't made it past probably like the 4th part.
Yeah, I think I got to like maybe the 3rd one, and then I died, and I was like, all right, and it was late anyway, so I was like, all right, I think I'm done playing.
Mind you, the first few times I tried it, I also didn't, before going in, like putting the sword back in, I didn't heal myself, so I had like half health.
Ugh.
And I'm like, man, this is weird that they start you off with this little health. This is kind of dumb. That makes it like stupid hard.
Well, the very first time
I looked at the hearts, and then I looked at my thing when I exit back out to the forest, and I'm like, oh, you gotta heal yourself. Duh.
Yeah, the very, very first time I went in to it, I wasn't full health, and because I just assumed, I was like, this is gonna be a separate thing. Like, it'll probably heal me when I go in there. No. And also, you can't save in there at all, which is tough, because so it's like you can get almost to the end and die on the last one. You have to do all of it again.
Yeah, there's no checkpoint. There's no nothing.
Like, I thought at least, like, the break point level, like, that's towards in the middle of them, where you can cook and shit, I was like, alright, this will be like a checkpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
No, they're like, you're not saving. You just keep going. You might be able to put your Switch in sleep mode and hope that nothing happens.
Yeah, I'm like, no, pass.
Those little areas where you could cook, do you just destroy the whole thing?
What do you mean? Like, I run around and grab everything.
I grab everything and knock all the trees down.
Oh, no, I don't do that.
Oh, there's fruit in the trees sometimes.
If you knock them down?
Yeah.
Because I've only gotten, the 2 apples from the one tree.
Oh, sometimes there's other stuff in there. I just bomb everything.
No, the
that,
very
that
first...
place is laid to waste by the time I hit that teleporter.
The very first one I got into that has the one fairy in it, I didn't even see the fairy at first, so I just sprinted out and it took off, and I was like, God damn it.
There's one later on where there's 2.
Yeah, in the middle one there's 2, so I'm assuming whenever you get to the only 3. But fairies, I feel like fairies in Breath of the Wild aren't that hype.
No.
Like, they only give you, 5 hearts. Well, granted, it's like if you go down, they revive you, but still, I remember, didn't fairies back in the day used to fully heal you?
I don't think they fully healed you. They just, maybe if you were alive and you used it, if I remember right, but if you are dead, they just revive you, a little bit.
Oh, well, maybe then, I don't know. Maybe my childhood memory is askewed. But yeah, I mean, I've been playing that. I'm still playing ARMS. We played some Mario Kart last night.
We did play some Mario Kart, which the AI in that game can eat a bag of dicks.
Well, I guess they just put out that update not too long ago. That the further back, like the chances of getting better items were increased.
Oh, like insanely increased. We were playing, and I looked at the map at one point, and there were 3 bullet bills on the map.
You like time to juke and jive
like,
out of here.
How the fuck does that even happen?
Oh man, it's funny. So, just go back to ARMS real quick. So we've talked about this on the show. Like, I don't really play fighting games at all. But, like, I really like ARMS, and I've been playing a little bit more ranked online.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm up to level... I think I'm, like, halfway through level 7 right now of ranked. Which I think it goes up to, like, 15. I don't know. But what I like about it is, so once you finish a match, you can either hit continue, and it'll immediately match you with that same person again if they also hit continue. So, like, you can just rematch right away.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can hit, like, new challenger, and it'll just go back to searching for someone else. So what I'll do is, like, if I go up against somebody, and, like, I just tool on them, like, I just destroy them, I'm, like, instantly continue, because I know that they're mad, so they're going to want to try and rematch me. Like, I had, like, 2 separate people yesterday that I just whooped on, like, 4 or 5 matches straight through, because they just kept hitting rematch, and they just couldn't beat me. And I was, like, just farming all these coins off them to buy more arms.
I can't help but notice that you could get an arm in there that makes your hand look like a Gundam.
Really?
Well, I mean, not like a gun, like part of a Gundam. So in Gundam Wing, there was the dragon, like, Gundam.
Oh, yeah, that's like the little dragon cannon hand.
Yeah, I mean, that totally makes you look like Shenlong.
Well, I play Min Min a lot, so, like, that's one of her default ones. I don't use it, though. Because I think, like, I don't know, I keep my setup as pretty basic. I got these electrified gloves, and I got a fire glove. And usually I'll run double electric gloves, but sometimes I'll switch one of them to one of the fire ones.
How many, does it, like, actually do more damage when you hit somebody with it, or is it just more like a cosmetic thing?
Now, I could be way wrong, because my understanding of this game is literally just what I've, like, deduced from playing it.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone has different abilities, and one of the abilities that Min Min has is, like, you can, like, there's different levels to charging up, like, the arms when you're using them. And, like, so hers is, if you, like, just jump and land on the ground, like, it does a quick charge, which will, like, last for, like, 1 punch. So, like, for the electric glove, like, if that's charged and I hit somebody, like, it shocks them a little bit and, like, stuns them for, like, a half second. For the fire one, it's very like, old school Street Fighter, you know what I mean? Like, when you hit on fire and you kind of jump back and you got, like, you're all blacked out and when you got the little red on you.
Uh-huh.
But then one of her abilities is after you, like, successfully land a grab, or if you, like, hold in the button and charge up so you stand still for a couple seconds, like, her left arm swaps from being, like, ramen noodle to being, like, a dragon. So essentially what it does is it makes the arm on your left arm bigger and does more damage, and it's, like, fully charged up.
Yeesh.
So with the electric ones, I like to do that because if I hit somebody with that charged up one, it completely stun locks them for, like, a second. They can't use either one of their arms, and you can get a grab on them, which does, like, 160 damage.
Jeez.
So what I do is I'll charge up right in the beginning of a game, so I'm just ready to go. Then I'll kind of throw out the quick jabs with the right hand to kind of keep them on their toes and try and bait them into walking into the big one. But yeah, I mean, she's the one I play the most. I've only kind of messed around a little bit with some of the other characters, so I don't know their abilities. But what I think is cool is there's I don't know how many, maybe like 20 arms, per, like, character. I think each character has the same ones, but you need to unlock them for each person.
Mm-hmm.
But then you can if you get, like, a duplicate one, because it's all, like, random when you do the thing. If you get a duplicate one, it puts a little plus sign in it, which essentially makes it do, like, depending on the type, I guess, it does, like, either a little bit more damage or, like, you punch a little bit faster with it, you know what I mean, or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So my electric ones, I got the plus sign on there. So, you know, they're the best version of the electric ones. But yeah. I don't know. I like that game a lot.
I don't see myself buying it until it goes on sale.
You are missing out.
That's
so
okay.
hard.
That's okay.
Because you could be taking L's in arms just like you were taking them in Mario Kart.
Whatever. There's some wins in there. There's photographic proof.
Photographic proof of a tie?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Technically, wasn't it? Because you won the very first one. So does the crown thing carry over? I don't know how it works.
I think the crown was, when we both had it, was the fact that it was a tie because I won 2 and you won 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was... I got absolutely jobbed out on that very first race. Like, I was in first the whole time, and then a fucking 100 feet from the finish line, I got hit with, like, 2 red shells, a fucking blue shell. It was a mess. I was like, alright, well... Clearly, the gods don't want me to win this one.
Well, the one race, the ending of it was complete chaos because there was like shells going off, a bomb, and then a blue shell, and then like 3 people were next to each other. I was like, what the hell is going on here? There's like an Isabel next to me with bananas, and I'm like, I'm not gonna touch that. I bumped into it somehow, and it was like the perfect moment where I was like in between bananas. And I bumped into it, and it pushed me across the finish line. I was like, holy shit, how did I just get first? Like, I wish there was a way to replay how that ended, because it was pure chaos. Like,
this was high-stakes Mario Kart, dude.
Dude, it's because like I said earlier, the AI, like, as soon as you, in that update, you're in last place, they're just like, here, have whatever the fuck you want. Complete chaos.
Yeah, man, I love playing Mario Kart. We're trying to get together things we can play with, anyone listening or whoever wants to join. We're still working that out. But yeah, I'll play Mario Kart all the time.
It's a good game.
But yeah, I mean that's like it for game stuff. I feel like
I really feel like this Bayonetta stuff is coming.
The what is it?
This Bayonetta stuff for the Switch.
I don't know, man. I mean, that's...
Well, if you look if we get out our tinfoil hats, or should I say our hair-made hats, because that's what Bayonetta's clothes are. It's hair.
I've never played those games.
So let's get out our hair hats and our gun shoes, and just think about it. They pretty much have... They have the first one and the second one on their consoles. It's probably really easy to port it. They have 2 amiibos coming out later for this game. And yeah, but she's in Smash. Like, why? Pretty soon she'll probably be in Mario Kart.
No, I don't think so.
I don't understand. I don't know why you would make 2 amiibo. Yeah, I don't know why you would make amiibos for a game that's that old unless you planned on re-releasing it or
because they have to make the amiibos for it because they promised that they were making them fucking years ago for Smash. Just like the Cloud one. Fucking Final Fantasy VII is not coming to Switch, but they're making the Cloud amiibo.
They gotta get that amiibo money.
But, I mean, it makes sense to me if they put these games on here. Like I said, I don't know that I'd buy them just because I didn't play them before, and I don't really, I don't have a need to be like, oh man, I want to play these. But
they're pretty tight. I'm gonna get them.
I don't know, I watched some footage of one of them, and I was like, ugh, it doesn't appeal to me.
It's basically like Devil May Cry.
Yeah, but not Dante. So I was like, ugh.
Yeah, you're a witch.
Who's not Dante? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The whole reason why I like Devil May Cry was because of that character was so cheesy and awesome.
I'm more Team Bayonetta.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm more Team Metal Gear Rising. How about that? I pick that one. I played the shit out of that game. Like, regardless of
how that game. It was pretty over the top.
Thing is, like, I'm such a Metal Gear nerd. Like, I was of course I was gonna play it. I remember I got the one of my buddies or something had got it, and they didn't want it, so I thought it was weird that they bought it. But like the super fancy edition of it that came with like the fucking electricity lamp with like his sword or whatever in it.
Oh no!
I have that somewhere.
I was going to buy it, but I was not that dedicated to it.
I would not have spent money for that.
No, that game was good. It's definitely cheesy. You had to look at it like as a just over the top.
But I thought the action was awesome.
Yeah, you like catch
Well,
a
the thing that
sword
sold me
or
is, like,
something with your foot.
if they had
Nanomachine,
tried to,
son.
yeah, if they tried to release that game before you saw how awesome Raiden was in MGS4, no one would have bought that game.
I think it would have sold, just not as well.
But then when he
Even
shows
then,
up
I don't
in
think
4,
it did very well.
when he shows up in 4, and you're like, what the fuck? I mean, I was always like, I like Metal Gear Solid 2. I know a lot of people shit on it, but I like it. But when he shows up, people are like, what the fuck? Now he's like way different and awesome.
It's got that ninja appeal. Like, as soon as, what's his name, Gray Fox shows up in the first one, you're like, hell yeah, cyborg ninja.
Sweet helmet.
Yeah, nice. And then he's dead. And then you're like, well, that sucks. Metal Gear 2, no cyborg ninja.
No. I'm trying to think.
But you can do pull-ups on the side of an oil rig to gain your strength. It look real
I'm trying
boss.
to think, though. In 2, was there like a sort of mirror or alternative to Grey? Because essentially 2 is like you're playing through Raiden's version of 1. Obviously different, but like that's like essentially the thing. So I'm trying to think if there was, but I don't think there was like a. I just remember there were so many awesome things in 2.
2's good.
I still remember the first time I played through 4. Like, I literally bought a PS3 to play Metal Gear Solid 4.
It's the only one I haven't played.
What?
I played through most of it, and then my PS3 died, and I just never cared to go back. I could just watch all the cutscenes, man. It's like a movie.
No, it's not the same. You're missing it.
And I played through 5, and that was just so weird.
5 I thought was cool, but it wasn't Metal Gear for me.
It didn't feel like a Metal Gear game.
And I think it was just because, like, anytime I did one of them, like, it just every mission felt the same, just with slightly different things going on. It was like, alright, show up, infiltrate this base, knock out a couple guys, do this, boom, done. And I was like, alright, every time. And I played a lot. But, I don't know, it just didn't grab me like the other ones, which was a bummer, because there's cool stuff in there, but, and like building out the base, I didn't care about that.
No.
Those are not the type of things to grab me in games. Granted, like, some people dig that. So the same thing like when I played Fallout 4, I didn't do shit in my fucking hometown or whatever.
Just let that place rot.
I let these people live in poverty. I'm a man of the road. I'm out there. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for. I would like to give a quick shout out to, apparently they added Lost Odyssey to backwards compatibility on Xbox One, which, if people haven't played that, if you like RPGs, play Lost Odyssey, because it's super good.
That was on a list of games to play back in the ye old 360 days, but I just never got around to it.
I remember I had it, and I was like, holy shit.
I heard good stuff about it.
It's really good. If you like RPGs, like, not even just RPGs, if you like Final Fantasy style RPGs, like the big, like very JRPG aesthetic, this is a game you should play if you have not played it.
All right.
The thing is, it got me thinking, though. I was like, man, I wonder why, like, a lot of people, like, critically, I feel like it did well. I was like, did they ever make a second one? I don't guess not. And then I started to think, I was like, when did this come out? Because I, like, Googled for a second one, and there was, like, an article from, like, 2010. And it was like, should they make a Lost Odyssey 2 or whatever? And I was like, if this article's in 2010, when did the game itself come out?
Probably, like, 06.
Because I remember it... I'm trying to think. No, that was Devil May Cry 4 when my 360 broke and I had to wait to play it.
2007.
So 10 years ago. Because I remember, didn't it come out right around the same time as, what was that other game? Was it Blue Dragon? The one made by, like, with Toriyama art?
Yeah.
Which I never played that one.
Fuck.
What, was it good?
People told me it was good. I bought it, and
It was not good. You played yourself?
Oh, I should have bought Lost Odyssey and said, where is that fucking character list?
Lost Odyssey rules.
Because there is a character in that game that makes it pretty much unbearable to play.
In Blue Dragon?
Yeah. Where the fuck is this character?
Yeah, you know what games I wish would make a comeback? Maybe they are, and I just haven't been paying attention. Is I want them to bring a Mr. Layton game or a Professor Layton game to the Switch. I fucking loved those games. Those are like the only games I played all the way through on 3DS. Because they were the best.
Oh, where is this character? Because this character talks like in the third person, like about itself all the time.
Can't do it. I just remember when Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon were
fucking
out.
Maru.
That's what it's called?
Yeah, and it says its name all the time, and it's so loud, and it's so annoying.
No,
fuck
pass.
that game. Ugh. I'm getting so mad just looking at it.
He's like, it's bringing back the rage.
So mad. I couldn't help. I was just like, wow, I think I like this game, but I just can't. I can't do it. I'm out.
He's like, I can't play it because his character is so shit.
It's unbearable. And I don't even think you could take him out of your party. He was just there. And you're like, great, I'm stuck with this bullshit.
Like, when did... I'm trying to... I feel like they came out around the same time.
Wasn't that Eternal Sonata another game that came out around the same time?
I think that came out after. I never played that one, but I heard that one was pretty good, too.
Fuck. RPGs. I don't mean fuck RPGs, I'm just saying, man, there's so many.
Well, do you remember this was... Because this was all back in the day, like, when they really made a push to,
try and get the Xbox into Japan, like, popularity-wise. And it kind of worked, but not really. Blue Dragon came out in 2007 as well.
So, yeah, because there's a lot. Like, looking here, like, you had Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon, Tales of Vesperia.
This came out August 27th, or 28th, which is my birthday of 2007. What a shitty
Infinite
gift.
Undiscovery. That's another one. Eternal Sonata. Do you remember The Last Remnant? Now, my only memory of this RPG on 360 was that before it came out, they put out like a story trailer or something, and I was like, man, that actually looks really cool. Like, I might check that out. And then I kind of forgot about it. Then it released, and like, if memory serves, the review's not good. And I was like, you know what? Probably going to pass on it. And, you know, probably for the best. But yeah, so all just to circle it back around, go play Lost Odyssey if you haven't yet.
I probably won't ever get there. I'll say I will, but I won't.
It's a long game. I remember on the 360, I think it was like 4 discs or something. Which, I mean, that means nothing nowadays, but...
Yeah, what's a disc?
Yeah. That's right. That's what I would be curious to see is how
big the
like
file
what's the
is.
game size, right? Like if I want to download it.
It's probably not even that big.
No, it's probably not, which is ridiculous because so you're thinking 4 discs, but like I mean I always use this as my comparison when I do other things, and this is what my brain. I know the file size is like the whole of the first Destiny game, like all DLCs included. I think is like something like 96 gigs or something like that total.
Mm-hmm.
And that's essentially 3 years of content, right? But it blows my mind that's that, and we bring it up like when I had Switch for the Zelda came out, and they're like, it's gonna be 13 gigs. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what is this?
Oops.
But you know, listen, obviously the size does not matter for the game, like because Zelda was amazing. I just think it's funny that when you compare it, that it can be so different. Like, what's Mario Kart? It's like 8 gigs or something.
It's tiny.
It's so funny to me. But yeah, I might look that up after the show's over, just because I want to know.
What have you been reading?
So comics, I finally. People may know this because I think we talked about it a little bit a few shows ago. Like, I made a decision I was going to go back and read through the whole of the manga Bleach because I had started it and read it for a long time, and then things happened. I stopped reading it for whatever, and I just fell way behind. And then it ended, and I was like, "Fuck." So I finished Bleach like a little while ago, but I had also stopped reading Naruto at the same time that I stopped reading Bleach. So I decided I was going to go back and read that also. So I have finished that. So I think Bleach was like 670 chapters or something like that, and Naruto was like, I think it ended at 700 maybe. So I finished both of those.
How long did it take you to read that?
All total, and this is like a lot of reading. This was probably like an hour or maybe an hour and a half a night, and like sporadically throughout the day. I would say probably like a month for each one.
That's not bad.
Well, like I was saying before we started recording, like with these comics, especially like this style, they're very action driven. So you can get like if a big fight is happening, you'll get like a whole chapter or 2 chapters or whatever where there's very little actual dialogue because it's just the action, like the fights. So it doesn't take that long to read because you're just, looking at the pictures and just moving on.
Mm-hmm.
And I found myself too, like, you got to remember, I read through the whole thing, like from beginning to end. But if there were specific sections that I vividly remember, so like if I was like, oh yeah, no, I remember this part, like I would just like skim through it quick. So I ended up like skimming for a lot of like the early stuff because that's what I remembered the most. And then when I get close to kind of where it ended, that's where it gets shaky because I'm like, I don't remember if I read this or not. But I didn't just flat out like skip anything. I don't think so, anyways. So I've been reading that, and then outside of that, I'm finally now trying to catch up on my like 6 months worth of backlogged like regular weekly comics. Like I am caught up on Invincible now. Halfway through the final issue of that Reborn miniseries. Then I still have, we were just talking about it, I have so many issues of Injustice to read. Gotta catch up on All-Star Batman. There's, oh my god, dude, I still have Walking Dead on there. There's a lot on there.
So I took some time to read The Button, that like Batman Flash like 4.
Oh, I heard that was pretty good.
It's good, but it's weird because by the end of it, like, spoilers, there's not really much solved.
So it's like an event series where nothing happens.
It's kind of like Batman and Flash like running around in time. Batman gets to meet his dad and all that stuff, but you're like
Flashpoint and his dad?
Yeah, like for some reason that universe is still kind of just hanging out there.
Kicking about.
And there's something to go on with, like the Button showing up and like having this energy and stuff connected to it, but they can't figure out where it's coming from or what it is. Reverse Flash shows up, just gets dealt with. It's cool. I would definitely check it out. But like, there's some cool moments in it. It was a good read, but I just like by the end of it, I was like, wait, we got a little more of a reveal for this whole like Watchmen thing, but like we couldn't.
Because when is that supposed to start?
I would imagine end of the year.
Yeah,
because I think
like that'll be their event thing. I
think there's another, like at the end of the issue, there was like a Doomsday Watch or something like that, like teaser at the end that just kind of showed like a clock that had some Batman and Watchmen like related things in it.
Oh, like the count, like from the Watchmen book, like the countdown or whatever the fuck. Wasn't that a thing in there? I don't know. I read it so long ago.
It's been a while since I've read the Watchmen, and I don't really care to go back and read it again.
Agreed. I don't know.
I think that before the Watchmen stuff that I read made it even worse.
Well, aren't they making, it's supposed to make a show now? Didn't it get optioned by like HBO or something to be a series? I don't know if it's going to be based off of like the main book or something else, but I thought I read that somewhere.
I didn't see that.
But I mean, either way, who knows? Just like the movie they made of it. Like, it's funny because I remember seeing the trailers for the movie Watchmen and being like, "Oh, I never read that. I should read that before." Reading it and being like, it was okay, kind of boring in my opinion. And then I was like, I don't know, but we'll see what happens with the movie. Watching the movie and feeling the same thing, like, it's kind of cool, I guess, kind of boring.
It has some moments. Yeah, in November 2017, it says Doomsday Clock, and it has like the clock, but at midnight or noon is a Superman symbol. So I was wrong about the Batman part. I also read this. I also read this at 2 a.m. last night. So can't be the most accurate.
outside of that, I haven't really been reading anything. Which reminds me, though, is that because I thought I was following it, but I didn't see it on there, so maybe not. Is Miles Morales Spider-Man book, is that still a thing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's still a thing.
Because I'm gonna have to check, because I was subscribed to that one on Comixology for a while, but I haven't seen it. So either it hasn't been coming out, or somehow my subscription thing got fucked up.
That could be that, because that seems to happen to you a lot.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to check that after we're done here, because I like that series. It was all right. I like it because it gives me Spider-Man without I do not like the current Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about Peter Parker being a scientist, running a business, having all this tech and all this stuff. Like, I don't care about that.
Yeah, not totally into it. I stopped reading Amazing Spider-Man because it was getting a little, I don't know, boring, so to speak, and, the story just wasn't that fun. That's Miles Morales Spider-Man. Apparently, it is still going, but, man, I am way behind.
So, yeah, so if you're way behind, I'm probably way behind.
It's at 20 issues, and I'm looking at my catalog here, and there's a point where it was at issue 9, and then apparently I was just issues 10 and 11, fuck that, don't need to read that, and then jump back in at 12.
Why not 10 and 11?
I don't know. One of them was a Civil War II tie-in, which I read that, which I should have read this. And then the other one, I don't know, it just shows him on the cover with his dad, and he looks like he's disappearing. And then it starts this whole Spider-Gwen crossover stuff.
Because what is it? What is the book called, though?
It's just called Spider-Man.
Okay. Oh, all right. Well, that keeps it easy.
Yeah, I'm going to have to come back to this. Because I was reading it. I just forgot, apparently. Oh, well. Oops.
Huh.
He's supposedly in that Spider-Man movie.
He's in the movie?
No
spoilers. I don't want to know anything.
It was in the trailer. Not as Spider-Man. Because he's in the trailer filming Peter Parker Spider-Man on a cell phone, and someone's like, "Hey, Miles," and he turns his head, and you're like, "Whoa."
Oh, you in the game though?
Huh?
In the video game, you mean?
No, in the movie.
Because that's exactly what happened in the game. In that trailer they showed at E3.
Oh, maybe I'm just dumb and confusing these things now because I've been so out of it.
Very possible.
Yeah, that's probably right. You're probably right.
Yeah, see, it has my thing in there.
I picked up that Edge of Venom verse, issue 1.
What does that mean?
So you read Edge of Spider-Verse, right? With all the Spider-Men.
Yeah, but I don't know because I just got the collection they put out, so I don't know if that had everything or if they only had a specific thing.
I'm pretty sure it had everything. So it's basically they're doing that same thing where there's all these different Spider-Men, only they're just different Venoms. I don't know what they're fighting yet because it's one issue, but the first issue just starts off and it's following X-23. And she's trapped back in this facility again. It's it shows almost like a flashback, and then it jumps forward a little bit, that sort of deal. But while she's in there, she tries to escape, but in the process of escaping, she ends up bonding with a Venom symbiote.
Oh,
so that's why you see all this stuff on these covers. That's all venomed out and kind of crazy looking. It's only a 5-issue series, so I don't see them getting too crazy with it. At one point though, like she's kind of she meets up with these like random like runaway kids, and then kind of splits up a little bit of the symbiote to help them so they can like get food together and like survive. But at the end of the issue, like a venomed out Captain America shows up.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm imagining that it's just going to be a bunch of like Marvel heroes with the symbiote on them, which is fine. It's definitely going to get real weird. Yeah, Venom Cap looks pretty ridiculous. I mean, so does Venom X-23, so whatever.
It's weird because, like, it almost seems like they're ramping up this Venom stuff because they're hoping to make this a movie.
Yeah, but hopefully they can fix that movie before it screws itself in typical non-Marvel movie fashion.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've never been like the huge Venom fan. Like I thought he was okay, but I never really understood like the super appeal that he seems to have. Because I always viewed it, I was like, if you want to like somebody like this, why not just like Spider-Man?
I mean, I like the character, I like the way it looks. I prefer like Eddie Brock, like Venom, over all of them. Like even the Flash Thompson one was like cool, but like I don't give a shit about Matt Gargan Venom. Like get that out of my face.
Who? I didn't even know that there was. Literally in my brain, Eddie Brock is Venom. I didn't even know there were other ones.
Oh yeah, so if you want to go in like a timeline, which this isn't completely accurate, there may be some stuff in between. First, Spider-Man has the symbiote.
Yep, I know that.
It eventually rejects it, and it finds Eddie Brock. He has it for like the longest period of time, and then at some point, he loses the symbiote, or I think he starts to reject it too, just because I think it was like giving him cancer or something like crazy like that. So in the process of him not having it, it gets captured by Norman Osborn. This is during the whole like part where he is Iron Man, like he's the Iron Patriot, like that sort of thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I can't remember what that's good. Dark Reign, I think that's what that whole series is, like when all the heroes kind of turn up missing.
Yeah.
So during that point in time, Mac Gargan, who is the Scorpion, ends up bonding with the symbiote. And he's even more like crazed psychotic than, Eddie Brock. So at one point, I remember seeing a thing where he's like hanging out in basically like this lair, and
he's like this is a Venom lair.
Yeah, they feed him a Skrull. Ooh. And before he eats the Skrull, he makes it turn into Spider-Man.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's like super weird. He has it for a while, and eventually, like after the whole fallout of like Norman Osborn and that stuff, I think S.H.I.E.L.D. gets a hold of it, and then they start messing with the symbiote, and they kind of like almost like
is that where
make it more docile, and that's where you get like Agent Venom.
Okay, because that's I knew of, not having read the book, but I knew of that one just from like seeing pictures and seeing him around.
And the Agent Venom thing is Flash Thompson has no legs. He's war vet. They decide to bond it with him and use it almost as like a tactical unit, like to go into these like conflicts or whatever and just end it. The only thing is even though like the symbiote is kind of sedated, it's a little more like docile, like he still has these struggles where he like lashes out and like sometimes murders people,
Well, I mean,
he bites a dude's hand. He bites a dude's hand off. That's for sure.
You gotta feed the need.
Well, because at one point he's like fighting these guys. One of them throws a grenade and it like vaporizes his legs, like that the symbiote gives him, and then he just like freaks out and turns into like the big hulking like Venom for a second. But then they went through all this trouble to put him on the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then they ended up going to like the symbiote homeworld, and then like the symbiote's like a good guy for a minute, like Venom Space Knight, like he has complete control over it. It's not like insane or like freaking out anymore. He's got like a totally different look. And then I don't know what happened because I stopped reading it. It ends up back at Eddie Brock, and he's all about just wrecking things.
and that brings us to where they're at now with this universe thing or whatever.
Actually, I have to rewind one more time because there's a point between Flash Thompson and Eddie Brock where it ends up on another dude. I don't remember that guy's
They're
name.
just passing this fucking thing around all the time.
Yeah, there's been some other people that have ended up with it because, you know, in that time frame too, it had to split a little bit and create Carnage, who is easily like the worst symbiote.
See, I didn't know, and again, this is just my such limited knowledge. I didn't know that Carnage was from the same symbiote.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I always just assumed it was a different one. Symbiote showed up, and this one was like a red symbiote or something.
No, there's a point where Cletus Cassidy and Eddie Brock are in like jail together, and Eddie's like symbiote like finds him, but it kind of rejects him a little bit and realizes that he's like not as crazy as this like murderer dude next to him, and it splits a little bit and creates Carnage.
That's another one. I don't know why people like Carnage so much.
He's not that cool.
Probably only because Maximum Carnage, the video game.
I would say that is 100% what it is. And even that like run, like that story arc Maximum Carnage in the 90s wasn't really that great. And I don't know, maybe they like him because he's red.
I guess. Seems weird.
I mean, I was overjoyed when he got ripped in half and left for dead in space. I was like, sweet, get that thing out of my face.
Get this
and then they brought it back
out of here.
And then they brought it back. And you're like, man.
Just a quick side note to bring up. I left off on issue 5 of Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
So, for those wondering at home, I think there's like 18 issues out right now.
I think there's 20.
Well, I think the 20th one's not out yet. Because there was one on Comixology that's... it's not out yet. It just has the cover in there for like 3 of them.
Oh, it's got the pre-order button.
Yeah. So, I'll catch up on that, I guess. Because I added that to my thing. But I was like, holy shit. I was like, where did these all come from?
Oops.
This is going to be another Ninja Turtle scenario.
Oh, God,
where
no.
I stopped reading it because I swear to God I read online that this coming up issue was going to be the last one. So when that issue came out, I went on and did my subscription. I was like, all right. I was like, seemed like a weird ending. Like, they didn't really do anything, but whatever. And then, turns out, no, it wasn't supposed to be the end. It kept going, and now I was way behind. I was like, all right, well, I'm done now. Or it's like that Dark Knight 3, where I just said, fuck this. Stopped.
That wrapped up pretty okay.
Don't need to even read it. You don't put out a collection before the fucking book is even done coming out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's all I got. I haven't really read out anything other than that.
I read up on Detective Comics. That's getting pretty good.
Is that the one you were telling me is like it's like a team book now?
Yeah. So there's like he's getting
the
Bat team together, trying to figure out what happened to Tim Drake.
The best Robin, but we won't get into that again. So yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much the show this week. We'll be back next week, though, probably talking Spider-Man Homecoming.
Most definitely talking that.
And that'll probably be the whole show, because, I mean, unless something else happens.
I doubt it. That'll probably be the whole show.
And then super soon after that is the Destiny 2 beta starts the following week. So not next week, the week after.
All right.
So we'll be in there. So, yeah, thanks for listening. Also, if you weren't aware, we are on YouTube now, apparently. I made a super shit animation to play while the audio plays. And I can't tell you a super easy link because apparently you can't have your own URL on YouTube until you have 100 subscribers.
So hit up the Twitter or the Facebook and go subscribe so we can change that.
Do that, please. And, yeah, we'll see you next week.
See ya.